Local, live, late breaking. This is a WESH 2 News update.
Right now, we are watching the weather today. The rain has already started in parts of Central Florida, and the severe weather could be on the way this afternoon. Meteorologist Malachi Rogers will have much more on this in your forecast coming up in a few minutes. Good morning. Glad to have you with us on this Saturday. I'm Stuart Moore. The time now is 9:26. George Zimmerman could be walking out of the Seminole County Jail today. WESH 2 has a camera in Sanford right now waiting to see when the man accused of murdering Trayvon Martin will post bond. Zimmerman will need to put up 10% of the $150,000 bond and be fitted with a GPS monitor before he can leave the jail. A judge set that bond after hearing from both sides in an emotional hearing Friday. Zimmerman's attorneys wanted the bond as low as $15,000. Prosecutors said it should be $1 million and not available. The most tense moment Friday came when Zimmerman took the stand to address Trayvon Martin's parents.
I am sorry for the loss of your son. I did not know how old he was. I thought he was a little bit younger than I am, and I did not know if he was armed or not.
Now, while out on bond, Zimmerman will have to check in with authorities every 3 days. He will have a curfew and not be allowed to have alcohol or guns. Now, the Trayvon Martin shooting has sparked a real conversation about race in Central Florida, and WESH 2 is committed to furthering that dialogue. Join us next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for our special roundtable discussion about the state of local race relations. Race, a community conversation, airs Wednesday at 7 o'clock on WESH 2, CW18, and WESH.com. Now, you can hear much more from yesterday's hearing on our website. We also have a timeline of this case. Look in the special section of WESH.com. Malachi's up next with a check of your forecast right after this break.
Local, live, late breaking. This is a WESH 2 News update.
8:56 on your Saturday. Good morning. Glad to have you with us, everyone. I'm Stuart Moore. The weekend has already seen severe weather in Central Florida. There's cleanup to do this morning in Volusia County. Take a look at this tree. It was knocked down onto a home on Fort Smith Boulevard in Deltona last night during that nasty storm. Thankfully, no one was injured, but much of the house has been destroyed. Another large branch landed on a truck nearby, and look at this, a gate actually torn off in front of a school in that area. Now, meantime, hail was also a problem Friday night. Viewers sent in these images. On the left, what fell along Luke Road near Lake Nona, and on the right, the DeBerry Golf and Country Club. When the rain and weather begins again today, be sure to send us pictures or video to the U-Local section of WESH.com. George Zimmerman could bond out of the Seminole County Jail today. A judge granted him a $150,000 bond after an emotional hearing yesterday. Zimmerman will be fitted with the GPS device and have other conditions placed on his release. Trayvon Martin's parents walked quickly and quietly out of the courthouse after that hearing. The family that has been outspoken throughout the case did not say a word to cameras, instead letting their attorney do the talking. Benjamin Crump says the family praised George Zimmerman's freedom as only temporary. He also said Zimmerman's apology to the family was self-serving. Now, the controversial local pastor who once burned the Quran will hold a rally in Sanford today. Terry Jones of Gainesville says the Stand Up America Now rally is to support the constitutional rights of George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. It is scheduled for 1 o'clock at the Seminole County Courthouse. This morning, friends of two murdered Winter Park High School students will pass out flyers seeking information in the case. Two vigils this week honored Jeremy Stewart and Nick Prochet along the Katy Way Trail where the burning bodies were discovered last weekend. Remember, you can get your latest headlines when you want them by logging on to WESH.com. Malachi's up next in 30 seconds with a check of your forecast.
Local, live, late breaking. This is a WESH 2 News update.
8:56, good Saturday morning. Glad to have you with us, everyone. I'm Stuart Moore. I-95 is open again in Brevard County after it was shut down because of two bizarre crashes this morning. They both happened in the northbound lanes in Palm Bay. One of the accidents involved an SUV carrying a trailer. The trailer flipped and spilled debris all over the roadway. About an hour later, there was an accident involving a car and a boat. The road reopened just before 8 o'clock this morning. This morning, we are hearing from George Zimmerman's neighbor, Frank Taffy. He says that he spoke with George just 2 days before he was arrested this week. Taffy sat down with Anderson Cooper to talk about the latest developments and why he feels his neighbor will be exonerated.
For him to embellish or add to the police narrative. George wanted me to, before Trayvon was shot, was a call that my home was being burglarized. And due to the diligence and the efforts of George Zimmerman, my friend, who will be exonerated, he helped stop that burglary by staying in a position of surveillance.
Well, Tappy also said Zimmerman was a model neighbor who wanted to ensure the safety of everyone. You can watch the entire interview Monday on Anderson, which airs at 2 o'clock right here on West 2. New from overnight, a soldier who lost both legs while fighting in Iraq is on his way across Central Florida on a hand cycle. West 2 is there as Army Sergeant Joshua Cope left Lake Nona this morning. He plans to ride all the way to Tampa to bring awareness about wounded soldiers. The trip is about 100 miles long and should take about 12 hours to complete. Remember, you get your latest headlines when you want them by logging on to WESH.com. Amy's up next with a check of your forecast.